Hey, what's happening, Disney Gamers? I'm the Guy01, and welcome to this week's first episode on the Walkthrough channel. This week, it's Bayley against Bianca Belair, and our weekly birthday versus. So we only had two birthdays this week, Mark Henry and Bayley. Mark Henry's birthday being June 12th and turning 53, and Bayley's birthday being today, she turns 35. Now, you may notice that this match is not Bayley versus Mark Henry, but we got the next best thing, with Bayley going up against one of Mark Henry's proteges, I guess you could say. Or, not really proteges, but one of his pupils, I guess you could say. For those of you who haven't seen the interview Mark Henry did recently, he basically listed out all the people who he discovered, and the man has an eye for talent. So he discovered Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Samantha Irving, and he was also the one who got Daniel Bryan into WWE, which he did by kind of lying to the company. He basically had to twist like how Bryan looked and like his physique just to get him into the door, which is kind of funny to think about. But yeah, man, the guy's got an eye for talent, and now that Mark Henry's out of AEW, we could very well see him come back to WWE, and if he does, I mean, could you imagine Mark Henry like leading a stable with, you know, just the people who he himself discovered? I mean, could you imagine like Mark Henry like being a manager or like mentor figure to Bianca Belair and Jade, and then have like Samantha Irving being like their personal announcer or like the talker for the group? That'd be amazing. So, beginning with Raw, Io Sky beat Lyra Valkyria. Afterwards, Dakota Kai and Io Sky then attacked Lyra, which then led to Chance and Carter coming out to make the save. If you notice, there was no Asuka, and that's because Asuka is currently out with an injury. I can't remember if that was something that was announced earlier. I feel like we've talked about this before, or it's been a known thing, but yes, that's why Asuka's out. Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and Braun Strowman beat JD McDonough, Carlito, and Dominic Mysterio in a six-man tag. And no one really cared about that though, because the only thing people were talking about is something that happened towards the end of the match where Liv Morgan got knocked onto Dominic Mysterio and basically sat on him at ringside. That image circulated everything for the next like 3 days. Like WWE was reposting it, every like wrestling YouTube channel was posting it. I mean, everyone was. I was like, man. Now, of course, this is just continuing the whole, I guess, love triangle between Liv, Rhea, and Dominic. Although Dominic still seems to be like the unwilling participant in all this. He seems to be kind of getting dragged into it. Now, ironically, something else that people also noticed, there was a backstage segment where Liv Morgan basically tried to give her hotel room key to Dominic, which we all know where that's going. Dominic basically told the other Judgment Day members about this. He's like, I'm not doing it. And then people noticed that Finn actually seemed to take the key and slip it in his pocket, which that'd be the twist of the century if it's like this whole thing ends with Finn being the one who goes after Liv. I don't know where they're going with this, but especially if like that's the direction they're going with it. I don't know how that's gonna work out, but okay. Late in the match? What are you talking about? This match just started. Sami Zayn was able to beat Otis thanks to a unintentional distraction by Chad Gable. Chad Gable then continued to berate Otis, and it almost seemed at one point that Otis was actually going to go off on Chad and attack him. but he stopped himself at the last moment and instead went and attacked Sami Zayn before storming off. But the cracks are starting to show. I mean, he backed Chad Gable up into a corner, and Chad was like fearing for his life. And man, when that eventually happens, the one thing I mean, everyone's talking about how big of a reaction Otis is going to get when he eventually turns on Chad. But I do think these constant teases is kind of hurting it. It's similar to kind of like when Batista turned on Triple H back in, well, that'd been 05. The reason it worked so well is because you saw the hints of Batista basically putting together how little Triple H thought of him, and you saw him slowly run out of patience and eventually get fed up with Triple H. But it wasn't until he actually turned on him when things got physical, or he showed Triple H that, how he felt. So that way it came as a total shock to Triple H when Batista beat the crap out of him. With this, it almost seems like Otis is telegraphing it a bit too much, or they're telegraphing it too much with Otis. I think it works better when Chad Gable has no idea that Otis is on the verge of turning on him, or whoever the bad guy is in this story. Like the fans know, because the fans see the things that the other wrestlers don't see, like the behind the stage segments, like the looks they give each other and that kind of thing. But I think the aggression and even like the teases of Otis attacking Gable and turning on him, I feel like that should be saved a bit more than it is. Ow. Oh no. Ow. Oop. No, you don't. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark beat Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. Braun Breaker beat Dragunov. Breaker then continued to attack Dragunov, who was then saved by Ricochet. Oh no. Ow. Not even a 1 count. Oh no. No. Ow. Please don't jump on me. Goodbye. Wait. Get back down. Bayley to belly. Got her. So Ricochet saved Dragunov from continually getting beat up by Braun. This was probably the best match that Braun's had on the main roster, which is no surprise considering who he was in there against. But this probably made him look better than any squash match could have. Having someone win a hard-fought match where they get pushed to their limits, I feel it does a lot more to make them look good than a squash match does, because it shows that they were willing to fight through and grind through to get the win, instead of just getting an easy win. I feel like that's more impressive when they have to fight for it. The Miz and R-Truth beat the Authors of Pain in order to retain the WWE Tag Team titles. Thanks to a distraction by the New Day, and the continuation of the New Day feuding with mainly Karrion Kross, not really the Final Testament as a group, more just specifically Karrion Kross. And before the main event, we had a backstage segment where Braun Breaker attacked Ricochet and concluded the attack by putting Ricochet through the windshield of a car, which then led to Ricochet being loaded up in an ambulance and taken away to a hospital. Now, the main reason behind this is Ricochet's contract expires this week. It might have already expired, but basically up until the day I'm filming this, we have not heard anything about whether or not Ricochet is going to be re-signing, and up until today when I'm filming this, he has not re-signed. He's basically done. Because I'm pretty sure his contract expired earlier this week. And there was, rumors going around on what WWE was going to do. If they were going to write him off TV or just, stop having him appear and not acknowledge it. So this seems to be their way of writing him off TV, which I guess it's nice that they actually, gave him some kind of a send-off instead of just he stopped appearing, like they've done with some people before. But, it would have been nice if he would have been able to wrestle an actual match, on his last appearance. Now, there are still people who say, he can still very well come back. All this just means is that he's not currently employed, but he can always come back. Maybe he just wants a break and he's waiting for a better offer or something, or whatever. So we'll have to see where this goes, and if we end up seeing Ricochet in either TNA or AEW. I think TNA would probably be the better place for him to go, because they're working with WWE right now, so there's more of a chance of, crossing over with, WWE again. Especially since WWE and TNA are seemingly more comfortable and open to basically sharing talent. And in the main event, Drew McIntyre beat Finn Balor in a victory that will allow Drew McIntyre to face Damian Priest at Clash at the Castle without any interference from the Judgment Day. So it'll be interesting to see if this will be what makes the difference, and potentially costs Finn Balor, Damian Priest, the title. Because, if the two world title matches, Cody versus AJ, Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre, I think Drew McIntyre winning is the most likely outcome. I can see Priest losing the title way easier than I can see Cody losing the title. Like I said, I've said this before, but, they hyped up Cody Rhodes winning the world title for like 2 years. They're not going to have him have a reign any shorter than 6 months. Or even a year. I mean, I see him holding this through next year's WrestleMania. Now, Priest, I see them wanting to keep him as a main event guy, but I mean, this seems like the perfect time to have Drew win. Oh no. Oh no. Haha, rope break. Veteran awareness. Oh no. Got you coming in. Go time. She got some height on that one. Come on, there you go. Use your resiliency. But yeah, I can totally see Drew winning the title. Oh. I mean, it's in Scotland. He's super over right now anyway. Putting it in Scotland would just be, he's already going to be the fan favorite, so it seems like too good of an opportunity to waste. It is a little sad to see, Priest not hold the title for longer. It would have been nice to see him get a longer title reign, and maybe he'll still get it. But I definitely see Drew winning. I see Drew winning more than I see Damian Priest winning. But that doesn't mean, this, what very well could happen is, and I'm just throwing this out there, it looks like Drew's about to win, he's got Priest down, he's about to go for a Claymore, CM Punk comes out, distracts him, or maybe even attacks him, causes a DQ, and screws Drew out of the title. And then this leads to Drew versus Punk at SummerSlam or something. That's like the one thing that I could see happening that would keep Drew from winning. Because other than that, I see Drew winning now that Judgment Day is out of the picture. But just because they're out of the picture, you know, doesn't mean someone else can't interfere. I'll CM Punk. But anyway, moving on to SmackDown. SmackDown was pretty light this week, which makes sense. It's like 12 hours away, or 24 hours before a pay-per-view, so it makes sense they didn't want to have so many matches. They don't want to risk injuries. Makes sense. Naomi beat Chelsea Green. Apollo Crews faced Santos Escobar. Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza were at ringside, but they were then taken out by Baron Corbin of all people, who made the save. Or not really the save, but came out to assist Apollo Crews. It wasn't enough, as Santos Escobar was able to beat Apollo Crews. But yeah, Baron Corbin, does he have a connection with Apollo Crews that I don't know of? Okay, well, I guess Baron Corbin's back on the main roster. That came out of nowhere. Nia Jax beat Mia Yim. And in the main event, Solo Sikoa beat Kevin Owens. It was a good match. Match of the night, definitely. But to be honest, they weren't really going up against that stiff of competition. After the match, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa attacked Kevin Owens, who was then saved by Randy Orton. So I guess it'll end up being a tag team match with Owens and Orton going up against some of the Bloodline members. Maybe all three of them. Maybe it'll be a handicap match. Although I doubt that. They have enough trouble just beating them one-on-one. But that is it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and make this all the time. Stay tuned for next week's Versus, and next week where we continue our LEGO Batman 3 Beyond Gotham walkthrough. Let me know in the comments below what your predictions are for Clash at the Castle, which happens tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed. Guy01 and the role model, Bayley, signing out. Bye, guys.